Companies expect to almost double their investment in artificial intelligence in 2026. But according to recent research from Boston Consulting Group, only 5% of companies are generating value from AI at scale. That is the contradiction defining enterprise AI today. Investment is accelerating, executive confidence is rising, AI agents are entering the workplace. And yet, approximately 60% of companies still report little or no material value from their AI initiatives. This is a value conversion problem, and no longer a technology adoption problem. How do organizations convert investment into adoption, adoption into scale, and scale into measurable economic value? And nowhere is that question more important than in the Gulf, where governments and companies are making some of the world's most ambitious commitments to artificial intelligence. Welcome to AI Navigator. I'm Piero Salame. In this episode, we will examine the widening gap between AI ambition and AI value, why so many organizations remain stuck in pilots, and what the small group of leaders is doing differently. You have probably encountered the claim that 80 or even 90% of AI projects fail. It is an effective headline, but it is not always a useful statistic. Rand has reported that, by some estimates, more than 80% of AI projects fail, approximately twice the failure rate associated with conventional information technology projects. But the definition of failure varies enormously. Does an AI project fail when the model does not work, when it never progresses beyond a proof of concept, when employees refuse to use it, when it saves time but does not reduce costs, or when it reaches production but produces no measurable improvement in revenue, risk, customer experience, or profitability? These are very different forms of failure. That is why I prefer to examine the AI value gap. It is more measurable, more useful to leaders, and more relevant to the decisions organizations are making today. BCG's 2026 AI Radar surveyed 2,360 executives, including 640 chief executives across 16 markets. The research found that corporate AI investment is expected to rise from approximately 0.8% of revenue in 2025 to around 1.7% in 2026. That is effectively a doubling of investment in a single year. 72% of CEOs now describe themselves as the principal AI decision maker in their organization. Half believe that their own job stability may depend on getting their company's AI strategy right. And 94% of organizations say they plan to continue investing in AI even if it does not produce returns in 2026. Think about that for a moment. Organizations are committing significantly more capital. CEOs are taking personal ownership. Expectations are rising. But the connection between investment and measurable value remains weak. BCG reported in July 2026 that only 5% of companies were generating value from AI at scale. Another BCG analysis found that 60% were receiving minimal or no value from AI, despite significant investment and implementation activity. The same research found growing concern about uncontrolled scaling costs, security, unstructured data, hallucinations, and explainability. This does not mean AI has failed. It means the market has entered a more demanding phase. The first phase was experimentation. The second was adoption. The third and current phase is proving value. The GCC provides an especially important case study. The region is building formidable supply-side capacity. The UAE is developing AI infrastructure and international partnerships through organizations such as G42 and initiatives such as Stargate UAE. Saudi Arabia is investing heavily in AI infrastructure, data centers, and national capabilities through organizations including Humane. Qatar is expanding cloud and AI capacity while pursuing partnerships aimed at accelerating government and enterprise adoption. The ambition is clear, but infrastructure investment is only one side of the equation. The other side is whether organizations across the region can absorb these capabilities and convert them into measurable results. McKinsey's most recent GCC survey, published in November 2025, included senior executives and board directors across all 6 GCC countries. It found that 84% of surveyed organizations were using AI in at least one business function. That was a substantial increase from 62% in 2023. However, only 31% had reached scaled or fully deployed adoption. more than two-thirds remained at the pilot stage, and only 11% qualified as value realizers. Organizations that had adopted AI progressed towards scale and attributed at least 5% of earnings to it. 84% use AI, 31% have scaled or fully deployed it, 11% are realizing material value. Those numbers reveal the real challenge. The GCC does not lack AI ambition, it does not lack investment, and it increasingly does not lack access to technology. The critical challenge is organizational execution. There are 5 recurring reasons why AI investment does not become enterprise value. The first is starting with the tool rather than the outcome. Organizations discover a new model, co-pilot or agent platform, and immediately begin searching for places to deploy it. The conversation begins with, where can we use AI? A stronger conversation begins with, which material business outcome are we trying to improve? Are we attempting to increase revenue, reduce operating cost, shorten a decision cycle, improve asset utilization, reduce fraud, increase customer retention, manage risk more effectively? Without a defined outcome, AI becomes a collection of interesting capabilities searching for a business case. Leaders work in the opposite direction. They begin with a valuable problem, establish a baseline, define the expected financial or operational improvement, and then determine whether AI is the appropriate intervention. The second reason is fragmented experimentation. Many organizations celebrate having dozens or even hundreds of AI use cases, but a long list of pilots is not necessarily evidence of progress. It may indicate that resources are spread too thinly across disconnected initiatives, each lacking the funding, ownership, or integration required to scale. Earlier, BCG research found that AI leaders pursue fewer opportunities than less mature organizations. They concentrate on the most promising areas and scale more than twice as many AI products and services. Focus matters because production requires more than a model. It requires integration, governance, security, user experience, monitoring, training, support, and process change. 10 well-funded initiatives with clear ownership may create considerably more value than 100 experiments. The third reason is automating tasks without redesigning workflows. This may be the most important distinction. An AI assistant can reduce the time required to complete a task, but a faster task does not automatically create a better business. Imagine that AI reduces a 4-hour analysis to 20 minutes. What happens to the saved time? Does the organization serve more customers? Does it make decisions faster? Does it remove a bottleneck? Does it eliminate external expenditure? Does it improve accuracy? Or does the employee simply move to another task while the surrounding process remains unchanged? If the workflow does not change, productivity gains can become economically invisible. The employee feels more efficient, but the company's cost structure, revenue, or service level remains the same. McKinsey's research found that workflow redesign was the organizational factor most strongly associated with EBIT impact from generative AI. Yet only 21% of respondents using generative AI said their organizations had fundamentally redesigned at least some workflows. This is where many AI programs stall. Organizations introduce new technology into old processes and expect transformation. But transformation requires reconsidering the entire sequence of work. What should be eliminated? What can be automated? What still requires human judgment? Where should an AI agent act? Where must a person approve? What happens when the system is uncertain? And who remains accountable for the outcome? The fourth reason is underestimating the operating foundation. A proof of concept can be created using selected data in a controlled environment. Production is different. Production requires reliable data access, common definitions, permissions, security, monitoring, lineage, and continuous maintenance. It requires clarity about which information the system can use, which decisions it may influence, and when human intervention is mandatory. These requirements become more important as organizations move from co-pilots that recommend actions to agents that can execute them. An inaccurate chatbot response is inconvenient. An autonomous agent taking action based on inaccurate data can produce financial, operational, legal, or reputational consequences. Data quality, governance, and risk controls are therefore not support activities added after the pilot. They are part of the product. The fifth reason is failing to connect productivity with financial value. AI suppliers often describe value in terms of time saved, but time saved is not the same as money earned or cost removed. If an employee saves 5 hours each week, the organization must decide how that capacity will be used. Will it increase output, improve service, reduce contractor expenditure, avoid future hiring, accelerate sales, shorten product development cycles? If no operational decision follows, the financial benefit may never appear. This is increasingly important because investors are demanding clearer evidence. BCG's July 2026 Global Investor Survey covered more than 500 institutional investors, representing approximately $35 trillion in assets under management. 77% said they deliberately evaluate the AI strategies of companies in which they invest. But more than 70% were concerned about whether companies possess the technical and organizational capabilities necessary to succeed, and more investors considered current AI spending too aggressive than too conservative. The message is not to stop investing, the message is to demonstrate discipline. Investors want to understand the priorities, milestones, trade-offs, and expected returns. Boards should require the same clarity. Before approving an AI initiative, leaders should be able to answer 5 questions. I call this the AI Navigator value test. First, outcome. What measurable business result should improve? Not what the AI will produce, what the business will achieve. Second, workflow. Which end-to-end process must change for that result to occur? Where will AI participate, and how will human roles change? Third, foundation. Do we have the data, systems, governance, security, and operational capabilities required to run this reliably at scale? Fourth, ownership. Which business executive is accountable for adoption and financial value? The CIO or data team may enable the solution, but the relevant business leader must own the outcome. Fifth, measurement. What is the current baseline? What is the target? And how will we determine whether the initiative is working? Outcome, workflow, foundation, ownership, measurement. If an organization cannot answer these questions, it may have an interesting experiment. It does not yet have a scalable AI investment. The GCC now has an opportunity to avoid repeating the fragmented adoption patterns seen in other markets. The region can connect infrastructure investment with enterprise transformation. It can develop AI capabilities around sectors where it possesses strategic advantages and substantial proprietary data. Energy, financial services, aviation, logistics, government services, healthcare, tourism, real estate, construction, smart cities, and mobility. But the next phase cannot be measured by the number of announcements, pilots, or technology partnerships. It must be measured by operating outcomes. Has the decision improved? Has the process changed? Has the service become faster? Has risk decreased? Has revenue increased? Has cost actually left the system? And can the result be repeated across the organization? That is the difference between AI activity and AI capability. We should not interpret the AI value gap as evidence that artificial intelligence is overhyped or incapable of producing meaningful returns. The leading 5% demonstrates that value is possible, but those leaders are not simply using better models. They are selecting fewer, more material opportunities. They are redesigning workflows. They are strengthening data and governance. They are investing in people and adoption, and they are measuring value with financial discipline. The decisive question for 2026 is therefore not, is your organization using AI? It is, where is AI changing how your organization performs, and can you prove it? AI adoption has already won. The competition now is about value. I'm Piero Salame, and this is AI Navigator. If you found this analysis useful, subscribe to the channel. In the next episode, we will examine how to select AI use cases that have a credible path from pilot to production, and how to recognize the ones that should never be funded.